Hi, and welcome back to FanCorner, your favorite nerdy, unhinged podcast. I think it's so cute that you do the head thing. I didn't notice I was editing like literally the last episode.
Isn't that like the blocking that we talked about? Like, it's the...
I did not give you blocking. This is not that serious of a production.
No choreo?
Not yet. Maybe if we get bigger.
So like and subscribe.
So today we're going to be talking about Arobynn Hammel. We're going to do a deep dive on that villainous son of a hoe. Very excited about it. It's our first Throne of Glass deep dive. So what up? But before that, we're going to just get into our nerdy highs for the month. So Brian, do you want to go first?
So this is for the month?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Just something nerdy that hype show.
And it's got to be nerdy. Okay, well, so something that was a big victory in my world. So I'm a big Warhammer 40,000 fan. Like that's probably my biggest fandom. And Games Workshop made a very public announcement that their employees and artists are not allowed to use AI for the creation of Warhammer content. So that was cool.
We love artists standing on business. Mm-hmm. Companies standing on business.
Yeah, very rare Games Workshop win, but it was one nonetheless.
It's really funny because Disney, meanwhile, is like, not only are we going to give you free access to our IP, but
here's $1 billion.
Yeah, we're going to pay you. I feel like I had to read like 10 headlines about that because I was just like, no, I have to be reading it wrong. Like
Disney, like the IP litigation people, like
okay. So when I had first read it, I thought they were paid $1 billion.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
You're like, here, rob me, and I'll pay you to do it. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. That's an amazing.
Yeah, kind of cool.
I wouldn't ever think that I would be happy for you to mention Games Workshop on the podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Go GW.
Bridgerton is coming out in 2 weeks for anyone keeping track, as I am.
Wait. Is this a high or a mid?
This is a high. Can you not tell by the highness of my voice?
I'm just kidding.
You're so mean. I'm so stoked. So this season apparently is like very Cinderella inspired.
Cute.
Which I have not read the books. I've heard they're different enough that for me it didn't feel worth doing. But so I had no idea. And so I was like, what? Although also I did think that the guy whose turn it is to like fall in love with
his brother. Each story or each season is like a different character's like emphasis, right?
Yes. Yeah, first it was Daphne, then it was Anthony. Yeah, goes through them one at a time. I legitimately thought he was gay. I need to really take a moment and a beat with my literary comprehension skills because I was like, what? Like when I saw the main love interest as a woman, I was a little confused, but I'm excited to see how we get there.
To be fair, a gay season would have been a blast.
It would have been. Yeah. It would have been really fun. So, but I guess he's bi. Also, it's Valentine's season. Like in 2 weeks. February is Valentine's month, which means we're going to go through our rom-com era. And I'm so excited about it. Like, so if anyone, like, put your favorite rom-coms down below. I'm, like, very carefully selecting the media I'm going to ingest next month.
And we got How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days on Blu-ray, so you've got that in your physical media.
Because physical media is the way, y'all. It is the way. I'm very excited about it. I got a cute, like, little case. It's really funny because I only have 4 DVDs right now.
It's the beginning of a collection.
But, so it's a case that holds, like, 500, and there's my little 4. But it's really cute. It's
gotta start somewhere.
So I'm really excited about that. But I don't know. I think we should skip our mids because I feel like Arobynn's already a mid.
Yeah, he's as mid as it gets. Yeah, I don't even know what my mid would be. So yeah, life is good. The new year's off to a good start. The podcast is awesome. Lots of cool media coming out this year. Yeah,
we're going to Emerald City Comic Con. So I mean, I can always bring us down low with my health, but I'm going to avoid doing that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so let's get into Arobynn Hammel.
Arobynn Hammel, the only character whose name written out in the whole Mossverse actually makes sense to me. At least,
You're telling me you wouldn't have guessed how to spell kale?
I still don't know how to spell
okay,
kale.
CHAOL.
No, it's not.
So Brian's been doing the audiobooks for this series.
Yeah, Audible for life. Well, not Audible, but audio for life.
Audio. But so I send him TikToks sometimes about like as he unlocks different characters, and he'd be like, "Who the hell is this talking about?" Because he won't guess it.
Because Celeana, I mean, I guess I hyperbolize, of course, but Celeana spelled out looks weird.
Because
it's spelled with a C. Sense. Well, I mean, it might make sense, but it looks weird.
Oh, you would have done S-E-L?
Yeah, instead of, is it C-A-E-L-A-E-N-E-A-N-A?
I think you had way too many in the middle there.
I don't know,
I
man.
think you just lost the sauce. No, I do think some of the names. So for me, it's Kale specifically. When I was reading the series, I read it physically, and so then when I saw a TikTok or someone said the name, I was like, that cannot be right. I think I was pronouncing it Chol.
Chol, yeah.
Which is also unhinged.
Isn't that a kind of vegetable or something? I don't know, yeah.
Kale is too, to be fair.
Kale. Yeah, kale?
Yeah, kale.
Kale, yeah. No, the funniest thing to me is, less than any particular unhinged name, is that we have this kind of stark contrast where we have Aelin, Ash River, Galathinius, or Celeana, Sardathian, and then there's Sam. and Ben.
So, I know this is going to be a hot take. Brian read Assassin's Blade first.
No, I didn't.
Oh, wow. You didn't?
I didn't.
You did it wrong.
I did it the way you told me to.
I didn't. Okay, well, I didn't own the audiobook yet for Assassin's Blade.
Oh, so it was a logistics thing. But no, so I'm
gonna have to take out the abuse from the YouTube's like.
No,
flag.
I need the video evidence. No, for litigation. No, so I read, for the audience, so that you know, I have read Throne of Glass, whatever number 2 is called, whatever number 3 is called, whatever number 4 is called, and then Assassin's Blade, and we are now in number 5. I think we're in Empire of Storms.
Yeah.
So I haven't read Tower of. I was going to say Tower of Buttcrack or whatever, because I don't know if we want to read that or not. But Tower of Dawn and whatever the last one's called. So I haven't read them all.
Now everyone's not going to take your facts seriously.
Hey, I can still have good opinions.
You can still have good opinions. But you immediately called that Sam. Like, I think you were like, yeah, Sam. Of course, she doesn't end up with someone named Sam.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there's some hint there.
You were like, that's too simple of a name.
Yeah.
Like that was literally your reasoning. It was really silly.
I don't mind Dorian. I think Dorian is like a fantasy enough sounding name. But like, yeah, there's like these. And again, any author does it. Like, I'm not whatever. But just some of that dichotomy between the very clearly fantasy names and then the like little bit more realistic or more.
I actually think Celeana is way less unhinged than a lot of the. I don't know.
To be fair, Arobynn is kind of an unhinged name. So Arobynn. So I think I don't remember exactly where he first gets brought up. If it's in Throne of Glass or if it's in number 2.
Throne of Glass, it's briefly mentioned to her.
Okay, so yeah, they call him Arobynn, the King of the Assassins, and I pictured like a 70-year-old man, and I don't know why. I don't know if Arobynn Hammel, like I don't know, it just Hammel kind of sounds like hobble, I guess. So like I'm trying to figure out where I came up with this like grizzled, white-haired, and I guess King of the Assassins. Like King, you tend to picture an older person a lot of the time. So
so I don't want to be too funny about this, but I have had the thought that a lot of the names in a lot of authors do this, and this is not a shade, I just think it's funny, tend to be close to the beginning of the alphabet. Have you ever noticed that? Like Arobynn, Celeana, like like just name after name. Dorian, like it's D, A, B, C, D. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of them tend to be like up at the front of the alphabet. I wonder if we have Ben, because you're like looking, and my guess is it's because you're looking at name lists and they're alphabetical. Like it's not randomized.
I wonder if like census, like normal human names follow that too.
Ooh, that's
or like if people are like looking at lists of names, which
maybe I'm thinking it's a writer flaw, but maybe that's like how life is.
So when I am writing, the names for my characters just pop in my head. I've never had to look at a list for a name of a character.
I think in my Greek book about the Fates, I did look up traditional Greek names.
That makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I was like, well, I don't know.
Well, so
but I did have the thought. I was like, I need to look further down than. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I do think that like different factions or whatever might have. Like I have a faction that's kind of like a Greek leaning in kind of how the names sound.
Sure.
But I don't know. I think fantasy naming conventions are very interesting.
Fantasy naming conventions more or less are put a Y in the middle where it makes no sense.
Or an A and an E.
Oh my gosh, I just read a book recently where for some reason the author thought it would be cute to like, it's this world, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? And so instead of London...
This world, like it's Earth, but it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of London, it's Lundin. And like Queen Elizabeth is like, has like a weird thing in it, and you're just like...
Elizabeth with a Y.
I'm like, guys.
Didn't you tell me they even use like the names of like...
Francis Drake.
Pirates and stuff. Yeah.
Sir Francis Drake. I was like, okay, if we're gonna make it a fictional world, can you just use a little more creativity? Just a little bit. Or just spell it London. Like, if you really think that's fine, just do the thing. Like, anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Maybe there's...
Moss doesn't do it very much, but I do
Moss
think a lot of
doesn't
them,
steal anything from, like, real traditional Earth culture, except for, I guess, a few names here and there. There was another name of one of the characters that just was literally, like, sounded like a finance guy.
Okay, so some quick facts now that we've just talked about vibes.
We're good at that.
Arobynn Hammel is king of the assassins. We know that he's from some area that Arlen conquered. He's double Aelin's age at the time of Assassin's Blade, so he's 35 in that.
Because she is 17 and a half?
Somewhere around there. Complexity of his hotness, right? Arobynn's an interesting one because despite what Brian thought briefly, he's not an old man.
Wait, is he a redhead?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I think I have a picture of him now.
A devilishly hot redhead, though. He's described as incredibly handsome.
As is every single person in this
very
entire
muscly.
series.
Yeah, okay, whatever. He's muscly. Celeana talks about how he's never declared himself father, brother, or lover, and how she can't work out her feelings about him.
That's healthy.
And it goes to show just how evil I think he is.
He like thrives in that ambiguity, like using
absolutely.
that as a manipulation.
Yeah. Grooming.
Oh, and there's Ray.
Will you move her?
Sorry, everybody.
And he has some hot lines. Like, if you were to take this line out of context completely of the book, right? He has this line that I think we all think about, where he's like, tell me what I must do to atone. If I must crawl, blah, 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 blah. Let me lay the world at your feet. And he's like on his knees in front of Aelin, right? Like, I'm so sorry. I was
and this is sorry for when he beat the shit out of her?
So this is later, remember? When she comes back.
Is it sorry for sending you to Endovir? Is that what he's apologizing for?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of letting it happen.
Sorry, I sold you into slavery totally on purpose, and it was 100% my fault, and he thought I was going to come rescue you.
Yeah, I don't know that he knows how much she knows, but yeah, you know what I mean.
No,
yeah.
It's really ironic that because do we ever know for sure that he was planning to come rescue her, or was
we do.
So he was going to let her live in a place that nobody lives longer than 8 minutes in or whatever, and she was there for a year, but then Dorian saves her.
So it's interesting. Okay,
Kale.
So this was for later, but we'll get into it now. So Endovir, which is the salt mines that she is sent to as a slave when she's caught as an assassin, we know that Arobynn had made a deal with Rourke Farron to get her caught and to get her imprisoned. But he thought she would be executed because she's Arlen's assassin.
Instead of going to the salt mines.
And so the guys Arobynn and him, there's that scene where they're looking down on the carriage, and he's like, are you gonna do something? This will be way easier than your plan of saving her from the execution block.
Yeah.
And Arobynn says no. And so I think he wants her to, we don't know for sure, right? But I'm assuming he wants her to break mentally before he gets to come in and swoop in as a savior.
Yeah.
Leaving her in the salt mines, where people don't survive more than usually a few days. I think is he did that because you can tell he bribed off the guards. Remember, Celeana talks about,
he was fairly confident she wouldn't at least fucking die.
Yeah, because she was never sexually assaulted or anything, and she mentions how the
guards doesn't like to share stuff.
The guards had been specifically paid off. Yeah. They must have been.
That makes sense.
That doesn't mean she didn't suffer.
Yeah, so she's literally. So again, you think Sam, when he was getting killed, was waiting for Aelin to come in and save him?
He definitely was. After, because she never follows directions ever. This
every
is the
single
one
time
she listens to someone.
And so Aelin thinks that Arobynn's going to come save her because she doesn't know that it was actually him the whole time. There's some very sad parallels there.
And so the longer she waited in there, withering away, the more she was like, no one loves me.
Mm-hmm. And that's, exact same guilt that she felt with Sam.
Although I do have to say, because Arobynn coming to save her does not count. That's a manipulation. Doesn't count, even though he was going to at some point. There were multiple people trying to come save her. They were just across the sea.
Oh, what's her name try to come save her?
When she finally finds out.
Ansel?
When she finds out, the word gets to the Red Desert, she starts to come over.
Is Ansel a redhead?
Yes.
Another hot redhead. Good for them.
I don't know what it is with fantasy books and red hair.
They gotta
be
just
a thing.
Yeah.
Just a thing. Okay, so evil man. So let's start with the opening thing. The very opening scene in Assassin's Blade. Ben, his second in command, has died. He was captured and he has been killed. This is very upsetting for our homegirl, Celeana, because she loved Ben, right? She's immediately gets extremely upset. A very different reaction than when she thought it was whatever assassin was supposed to get the job.
Gregory. So suddenly there's a Russian in there for some reason.
So I guess the question is, because the question gets brought up in the text by Sam himself, do we think Arobynn killed Ben?
So my instinct would be to be like, well, of course not, because like because I mean, think about the politics of it. Having the second in command of the Assassins Guild getting offed is like, man, they must not be very good at their fucking jobs. So like, my instinct wouldn't be immediately to go there.
Sure.
But
I think that obscures his intentions more if he did it though.
Well, of course.
Because then it's like, of course I didn't kill my second. He's my second. And it has this bad political ramifications.
Right.
I think what's sus is it was supposed to be a different assassin that went on this mission.
Mm-hmm.
So then last second it got swapped to Ben and it all went to shit.
Yeah,
there was way more men than they were anticipating there.
Yeah.
That seems a little suspect to me.
Yeah. But what would his motivation be for killing Ben?
Okay, so what I think his motivation was, and I've come really far on this while I was deep diving this. So at first I thought it was just to isolate Celeana because she mentions that she's really upset that Ben died. She actually goes out when she finds out that he was left. She's like, why didn't you get his body?
Mm-hmm.
Sam and his team of assassins were like, because there are 1 million people, Celeana. Like, we're not going on a death wish. And Celeana's like, fine. And she gears up. She had literally entered that meeting in her pajamas within 20 minutes. So before she's eaten, like really prepped for this at all. She hasn't like gotten a bunch of information from Sam on what's going on, where Ben is. She goes to get Ben's body back because she is so furious. So we know she loved this man a lot.
Sure.
He's a mentor. She mentions that he's trained her, different things. So I thought it was about isolating Aelin or Celeana from people that are like close to her emotionally is how I interpreted it, because there's no way, that it's swapped last minute and different things. If
with the way his plans are, that's never what would happen.
Like, and also it's too close to what he does to Sam.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, like, oh, here's a job, coincidentally, instead of me killing you, here's this job that's going to be way overpowered for no reason, out of nowhere, even though you've done all the reconnaissance. Come on, he's involved. Okay, but there's a throwaway line. Okay, this is crazy. There's a throwaway line.
Deep lore.
Yeah, deep lore. Where Celeana's in the Red Desert. She's like learning all the things from the Silent Master. And the Silent Master's son's like hitting on her. And she has this thought where she thinks about all the crushes she's had in her life, which was on like Archer. And she mentions on Ben. She said she had a crush on Ben before, and this is what it says, before she realized how impossible that would be. Why would that be impossible? Because you could say, oh, is it his age? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, though. Because I feel like his age wouldn't be enough of a reason for her at her age to be like, oh, yeah, this is impossible because of our age disparity. Which makes me think she realized it was impossible because of the politics of the Assassin's Guild. Of like, yeah, this is Arobynn's second in command. Like, this is going to make everything messy. Like, I can't pursue this crush on this man. And also, she shouldn't because she's a child. But that's besides the point. In this particular case. But, so I think she realized, like, Arobynn wouldn't like it, is my guess. My honest-to-God guess. And we know it was when she was younger, but she's 17. I feel like when we were at 17, we talk about 2 years ago as if it was, like, 18 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, seriously. The time goes very differently when you're young.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and you think you know everything.
I think Arobynn was mad because not only did she have this pre-existing relationship with Ben, we know that we don't have a lot of lines about him, but he helped her when he helped bind her wounds when her wrists and stuff were broken, which I think from context in Throne of Glass would have been from when Arobynn was torture training her.
As you do. And
she had to break her own stuff to get out. So I think Ben probably saw that, thought it was fucked up, didn't say that per se because of Arobynn, but like was giving her sort of care. And where she had that crush on him, I think Arobynn didn't like that she liked someone that wasn't him. She's getting like attachment figure vibes, and like it's a network that's outside of Arobynn's direct control. So I think he killed her killed Ben because Celeana had feelings for him, even if at that point they were platonic.
Sure.
I think it was part of like a long-term isolation of Aelin from anyone in her life that she could have a relationship with except Arobynn himself.
Yeah, which then we see, I mean that's a microcosm of what happens with Sam, right?
Yes.
So did Arobynn, I'm sorry that I don't have quite as much context. Did Arobynn know like Celeana's bloodline.
Yeah.
So like he literally knew that he was like
he's like the only person that knew.
So he knew that he had this like he was like grooming like a nuclear weapon, basically. And so yeah, like
who also stands to inherit the throne. So not
Yeah.
only is she crazy overpowered,
Mhm.
right? But like she is the sole
Yeah.
what is that called? Heir
Heir of fire.
Yeah, the sole heir to a throne. So she's a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
And she has a throne potentially at her disposal.
Sure.
That's a lot of power for one little girl.
Yeah, so I think that where he knew that from the beginning,
Yeah.
that just every single decision that's ever made, that he, anything to do with her was 100% about controlling her.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, like, I think, I've wondered, like, oh, did he ever actually love her? Like, I don't know.
No. I think he loved her the way he loves his very expensive rug.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like when he says, when he's looking down on her card as it goes to Endovier, he says, I don't like people touching my possessions.
I don't like sharing my stuff.
I don't like sharing my possessions. Yeah. He says my possessions. So he views her as an object, right? Which is why I don't think he likes it when his object develops thoughts and feelings of her own, as in having a relationship, even a platonic one, with Ben or Sam or anyone.
So, I mean, I think I'm sure he knew, and I mean, other than maybe just complete narcissism, I'm sure he knew that Sam and Celeana would fall in love.
No way he knew.
Of course, he had to have known, which I think he did, because I think this was the plan the whole time. The only thing that I think invalidates that is that so that what really happened that made him so mad that he beat her like he did at the beginning of Assassin's Blade. No,
totally. Okay, so let's rewind just a small baby smidge to just point out that killing your second is crazy. And I think the only reason he would do it is because, like you said, she's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know her own power. She is worth so much more than even the highest people in his life. And she just doesn't know it yet. But, yes, so her and Sam go on a mission in the Pirate Bay. And they completely blow up the mission, as they should, to free 200.
Swashbuckling?
Yeah. It's a great, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow,
why is the rum gone?
Energy, okay? That's actually why I loved the book, because I started there, and I was like, yes! Okay, she frees 200 slaves that were supposed to be Arobynn's property, right? You can't really own human beings, but that was the idea. She comes back, Arobynn beats the shit out of her. Just like crazy amount. And I think you bring up a good question. Why did he do that?
Is it because the freeing of the slaves was a microcosm of her leaving his control? Because she's his slave? Is that what it's about?
Oh, I like that.
Or do you
like metaphorically?
Yeah, it's like, no, like, slaves cannot be freed. That's not what slaves are supposed to do.
Just like, because, I mean, technically she owes him money for her training, right? He's been like keeping a ledger of everything she owes him. So she is, and even then after that, as a member of the Assassin's Guild, a huge portion of her income and all her decisions have to be approved by the guild. So yeah, it is kind of still an indentured situation. And so he wouldn't like this idea of, freedom, because his entire ecosystem exists on the idea of like, these people are not free in his circles, right?
Yeah, so maybe he was trying to show her that freedom comes with punishment. And so to dissuade her from ever trying to leave or be free of him herself.
It's so interesting because I also think the Sam thing is very relevant. Sam much later ends up saying that Arobynn had known he was in love with Celeana forever. Like, Sam's been in love for a very long time, but Celeana herself was not. And we know this because it's third person close, like Pav.
Sure.
So, like, we would know if she'd been in love with him.
I feel like if she didn't know, it's because she was young. Like, she was not paying attention. Because I think having been a teenager, when you're young, you act like you hate the people that you have a crush on.
Sure.
So
okay, so hard disagree though. But here's why. When we see how she feels about Sam, I really do think she distrusts him because Arobynn has specifically made Celeana feel that like they're in that constant rivalry. I think he pitted them against each other very effectively.
Very Gamora Nebula.
Yes, very Gamora Nebula, right? Like, we're fighting for attention from this like father figure in our life. And so, like, and not to mention the political, like who's gonna be the heir, like, there's a lot of things going on. So I think she legitimately always assumed, because of how she had been raised, that Sam at any point would, like, kill, maim, whatever, her to get ahead. And so I think when they're in Pirates Bay, I think we watch her, like slowly trust him, and I think that was only possible because they were away from Arobynn for so long.
Sure.
So I don't think she was in love with him before, because I think she legitimately thought and assumed that he would want her position, and to do that, what would he do to get there?
Sure.
And so that's a risk for her, and I think it took a lot for her to believe that he wouldn't do those things.
Sure.
And I think like that's what's key about this trip. And Arobynn made a huge mistake. I agree. Arobynn made a huge mistake sending them together, because I think being away from his influence for that month or whatever is the only reason that they could realize. I mean, Sam had already realized this because Sam had clocked some of Arobynn's shit already.
Sure.
But Celeana was able to realize like, oh, like this idea of us as being rivals is like being forced on us. It's not a true like situation.
Yeah, Arobynn forgot that teenagers are shitheads and they don't always do what they're supposed to do.
They're the two, and she mentions this at one point, like, if anyone could understand her life, it's Sam, because they were raised the same way. They got the same training.
Sure.
Only they understand how evil Arobynn is. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. But so I think, I don't know, but when they're sitting in front of Arobynn and Arobynn finds out that they have freed these slaves, yes, she lost him a lot of money. She did things she shouldn't have done. I love your freedom thing. Not only did she, like, free a bunch of people, but she also sort of exhibited her own freedom, not just by undermining his commands, but by starting to have feelings for Sam. And I think Arobynn could probably see that.
Yeah, I guess we don't know that he saw that for sure in the text, but it's like he kind of would probably have to be pretty stupid to not.
Yeah, I think so.
Or in my opinion, I do think that he maybe kind of sort of actually knew, and that the plan the whole time was to continue to do this thing where he's like, oh, here's this thing that you can love, and then he kills it.
So you think he planned for Aelin to fall in love? I'm sorry I say Celeana and Aelin. And
yeah, sorry. Spoilers. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't read the series.
Don't watch this if you haven't read the whole series. You think that Arobynn planned on her falling in love with Sam?
Yeah.
The whole time?
I absolutely do.
That's crazy.
I think he did. I think it was on purpose. I think it was all part of the strategy to keep her isolated.
Okay, so then why do you think it was the freedom thing that made it? Because to me, the beating felt like a huge escalation compared to how she was raised with Arobynn in a lot of ways. Yes, he trains her very brutally. He does horrible things to her. He's abusive psychologically, certainly. A lot of horrible things. But I think under the guise of training, he got away with a lot of shit. But the beating of her, like, he beat her face.
Yeah, he wanted to mark her. Yeah.
She was bruised even a month later, like really badly. So the amount of beating that was, I mean, I can't even comprehend, and blood that was. So to me, that feels like he lost control for the first time. Like, I feel like that was a crack of his control. Do you think it was
But I just don't think it was about her getting feelings for Sam. Okay. I think it was about her getting a taste of freedom and him being like, hey, yeah, here's this cute little thing. And then he Pavlovs her into, like, the minute she did something she wasn't supposed to, then there's punishment.
Sure.
So I think it was never, like, I think that for people who everything is about power, that love and feelings are just another tool. And so I think he knew that it would happen. I think he knew it was happening. I think it was all, and that was all the plan. I think it was to put, I mean, I think everything, like, it seems like he reacted, but I think it was all part of the plan.
Even beating her to that level? Okay, well then he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, he is a moron.
Because, I mean,
I think he's one smidge too narcissistic.
I disagree. I think people that don't know what love feels like, I think he knows how to wield parts of it as a weapon, certainly with the grooming, but I think he lost control. Whether it was the freedom thing or the Sam thing or the whatever thing, I think he lost control. I think beating her to that level, I think, is when he really starts losing control of Celeana, and I think he can't possibly understand love, and I think I could see him being blindsided by love, because why would you fall in love with someone that's your rival? Like, to him, that's like a confusing thing.
Sure.
And so I think he lost control, but certainly, whatever the case is, he went too far, because that's when Celeana starts to daydream for the first time about leaving.
Yeah. Because then, Skulls Bay happens, he beats her to death, almost to death. Yeah. And then she leaves and goes to the Red Desert. Yeah, so she's sent away. So I think that's kind of why, like, I think he beat her, not out of anger, but out of grooming, like out of manipulation, because otherwise I don't think he would have then let her leave again.
I think it's whatever his intentions were, he went way too far.
No, he absolutely went too far. I do think he messed up.
He fucked up because, like, even from a grooming perspective, like him having beat her, which I mean, I still think was his losing control.
Mm-hmm.
I still think, and the reason I think that too is I think beating her face, not just her body. I think where Arobynn likes his things nice and shiny, I don't think he would have beat her face if he hadn't lost control.
I think that he did it on purpose because he wanted her to know and everybody else to know that there's somebody who owns her.
Okay, yeah. But, like, why did he get that possessive? I think that was a crack. I think she accidentally exploited his internal weakness.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What I'm saying?
Sure.
And so I think classic, calm, cool, collected Arobynn, if he had realized what they had done before they walked in, I don't think he would have beat her like that. I agree he would have punished her horrifically. Sure. Absolutely. No question in my mind. But I don't know if he would have beat her quite like that. I think that possession concept that he has is his weakness. And I think ultimately that's what makes him lose control over her.
Yeah.
Because he beats her. She goes to the Red Desert. On the way, she keeps thinking to herself, because we know Sam was like, what if we leave? Like when they were in Skull's Bay, he was like, what if we never go back? You know what I mean? And Celeana was like, don't be fucking crazy. Like, she's literally like, LOL.
The shopping is way too great here in the Rifthold.
She was also, but no, in Skull's Bay, he was like, what if we just immediately leave?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And she's like, absolutely not. Like, she like won't even think about it. And part of it is she thinks to herself that Arobynn is all she has. Like, he had a pretty good control on her.
Right.
But then he beats her. So within a month, she's on her way to the Red Desert, and she starts thinking, like, what if I never go back? She starts thinking things like, what if me and Sam leave? She starts thinking all this stuff for the first time it appears in her life. And that's why I feel like he must have lost control. I think he's too smart to have done it otherwise. And I think even Endovier is an example of that. He got so possessive because of Sam to let her go to Endovier, and for a year, yeah, exactly your point, a fucking year, in a camp that kills people within a month, I think is the stat. How did he think that was a good idea?
Sure.
That's not a normal level of punishment of like, let me be your savior punisher. Like, even for a toxic groomer, because I'm not saying he's not evil. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
But I think he pushed her too far. If he hadn't done those things, I think she would have firmly remained in his control. Yeah. Actually.
So what do you think, this is kind of a little off the topic, but what do you think his plan was had she never left his kind of control? Like, do you think he thought she was going to take the throne back and that somehow that would serve him?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the long-term plan was to be her king and to rule through her, which is what he tries to do later with the word ring, which is a more direct kind of control than grooming. Yeah, that's cheating. But when he puts what he doesn't know is a fake word ring on her, it's to be her king, right? That's the idea, is we're going to take this throne together. We're going to rule the entire world through his little nuclear bomb.
It's so trite.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
So something interesting about Arobynn, and I think part of the reason we decided to do this podcast episode is I was sending you TikToks about how evil Arobynn is, because there's so many girls talking about how they feel so conflicted about some of his lines, even though we all know he's evil. He does that amazing, like, oh, let me crawl on the glass and like lay the world at your feet. Really hot quote.
Just funny. That sounded so like lame to me.
Like, that was so hot as fuck.
Well, I mean, and I guess it's just, for me, it's like, okay, bro, like, yeah, what do you, like, look up the how to write your Tinder, bio, like, type, like, exactly the right thing to say. I don't know. It struck me as a little contrived, but I can see why it would be appealing.
Yeah. A few chapters later, he's putting a word ring on her, right? Like, he clearly didn't mean any of it. So I've seen a lot of women talking about that confusion, and that's why you can tell he's such an evil villain. There's like this full body ick to Arobynn, to the things he does to her, is a reaction I see a lot from women on TikTok. Sure. But then when you saw them, you were like, I didn't think he was very scary, and I was like,
I mean, yeah, he's just kind of like another gross man. Like, I don't know. So I think to me, it didn't really feel like anything we hadn't seen before 100 times from like toxic relationships with men. So I don't know if even to this day, if I'm quite sure what it is about him that hits so different than any other manipulative guy. Like, yeah, like, yeah, go ahead.
Are you ready? So I think we are recently, and I think this is very recent, starting to see like exposés of toxic relationships, even through the lens of fantasy books. So we'll talk, since we're talking about fantasy, we'll do fantasy specifically. We're seeing the Play to Prisoner series, things like that, where we're seeing grooming. Absolutely. I think that this is something, ACOTAR, right? You see how grooming works in live action. You see the woman break free from it, right? And so to you, you're like, oh, it's kind of the same thing. No, I think it's the father-brother lover thing. So because he raised her, that deeper level of like, honestly, pedophile behavior underneath it all, how scary that is, because that's different than like a man after you're a little bit older taking advantage of you.
Sure.
Which is still horrible, and grooming and abuse still exists. But I think someone doing it from the time you're quite young, which is what happens here, to me, I think that's why women react so strongly to him.
And maybe my brain just, I can't get into a place where I can understand where, like, that's where it would be coming from. Like the whole, the pedophilia or like this, like it's such a fundamentally different way of viewing the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's nothing he does that we haven't seen before. But yeah, that ambiguity of his role for her.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's kind of, I think maybe that's why it's gross, is because it's like, what do you do when your stepdad comes on to you? You know, like, yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That's what makes him such an evil villain. Yeah. And I think that, I don't think we see a lot of depiction of that in books at all. In fact, I think it's one of the only ones in pop culture books that really gets into that.
Sure.
And I think that's why he's resonating to this day, because the series came out like 20 years ago. Why he's resonating to this day, I think it took a woman author, because at the time, 20 years ago, hard to believe, I know now, but women written fantasy was not very common, actually. And so I think like having a woman...
Think it was 20 years ago?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Wasn't it early 2000s?
Because this was the first thing she put out, right?
2026 now. Throne of Glass.
Publishing date? 2012.
Okay, so almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Close enough. I think it took a woman to write that, because that's a fear. Like, I think as a younger girl, we all had a creepy man try it on us at least once. We all had a friend it happened to, right?
Sure, of course.
We all know these creepy men, whether they were teachers, professors, unfortunately, people in family dynamics. Like, we all know these men. And so I think maybe that's why it wasn't, I think why there's a difference between a man and woman reaction to this is like, I don't know if that's like a fear that you have experienced in your own body.
It maybe part of it too is that, like, I think from the beginning, Celeana is so overpowered.
Sure.
That I'm like, well, couldn't she kick this guy's ass? Like, isn't that the whole thing? And so I don't know if we ever really see how skilled Arobynn is supposed to be at killing people. But I mean, the way Celeana can kill anybody else, I'm like, I'd be really surprised if like she couldn't have just killed him. So like, I guess that when I know she could take him, it makes him a lot less scary.
Yeah. Okay. I was getting a little too dark.
Good. And we're back with more light.
Okay, so I actually think that's what makes him scary, though, because I agree she could take him at any point. Well, at least by the age we meet her, she could take him. However, that's what makes him so scary, is that manipulation power.
Sure. Where
she thinks to herself multiple times in the text, and then this gets into the grooming, right? She thinks things to herself like, he's all I have. He's the only one that knows the truth of who she really is. And so there's sort of this like weird pseudo bond for that.
Well, so, and I actually think that is a caveat for why I feel the way I do about him, everything being deliberate.
Yeah.
Is because, him attacking and beating a normal girl would have probably, created one outcome. But I think he maybe knew that, like, in order to control someone who's half fae, or, I don't know to what extent he maybe knew all that. But I do think that he was like having to do things he wouldn't have normally done to control somebody because he knew how powerful she was.
Sure. And she is really powerful. I still think I still disagree. I think everything else was manipulative.
Sure.
Because some of the scariest examples of grooming aren't violent, I think. When she comes to him with all the trunks from the Silent Master to pay off her debt and to be free of him, to no longer be his slave, she felt so empowered when she first walks into that room, because he'd done something fucked up once again. And she was like, the son of a bitch has been lying to me again. Like, clearly this, I'm sorry. And here's all these trinkets and these beautiful gifts and this time with me. Like, she's like, oh, clearly this is bullshit. She pays off her debt. But when she comes in, he gives her a look and she gets a full body panic. And she's like, this is how he looked at me before he beat me. I'm scared. And she thinks to herself, why did I think this was a good idea?
Sure.
And I think that goes to show the grooming. And she ends up walking back from her original thing, and she doesn't move out that day.
Yeah, so she pays off her debt, but then she's like, but I'm gonna be your roommate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not leaving. I'm just kind of,
I still want to work with you.
Our dog died. Can we keep it? Like,
I obviously still want to work with you. She says that like 3 times to try. She's trying to appease him.
Placate, fawn.
Because she's scared. Yeah, she's fawning. Yeah. Exactly. She's fawning. She's not bringing up the apartment that she's bought. Like, she thinks to herself, that's not for today. And that had been the original plan. And I think he like that's actually why he's so scary, is that mental thing. Because you can always find a way to beat someone that's more overpowered than you.
Sure.
But when someone's that deeply in your head, I think then it's harder to fight. It's a harder battle.
Yeah. I guess maybe part of what's the reason that like the whole beating her as bad as he did things doesn't really faze me like some of the things is I think there's just worse things you can do to a person than like beat them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even though it's like, oh, he beat her so hard, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, that's still just is kind of like, he's been hurting her his whole life. It doesn't feel like a big escalation to me compared to some of the like, the manipulation and like the really horrible things that he does. And like, I'm trying to think of an example of like, and the closest thing I'm coming up with is like, there's a film that's quite a bit of fun. It's called Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Ooh.
And so it's like this kind of supposed to be this like James Bond type, more modern James Bond kind of take. And so the agents, they go through their training. As part of the training, they're all given a dog.
Oh,
and
wait, are they going to kill this dog?
Well, so they like have to take care of the dog. They do all these things with the dogs. And then the last trial is their trainer hands them a gun and says, kill it. And so
please tell me they shoot the trainer.
The ones who shoot it then go on to become real agents, but it's blank. And so they were never going to kill the dog, but the question is, are you willing to kill the dog?
Okay.
And then but then the ones who won't kill their dog that they wash out.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like that's a little bit more of like, that's more of like a horrible thing to do than just to beat somebody.
Okay, so here's why I disagree. Except in that case, that's like
dogs. Yeah,
that's crazy.
No,
obviously that's a crazy example. Technically speaking, some of the things he does to her, like her not knowing if he's a father, brother, or lover, I agree is worse.
Like morally worse than
and the effect it has on her full body.
Well, it's like there's worse things you can do than kill someone.
Yeah,
right? Like,
absolutely. However, I think the reason the beating hit different for Celeana herself, I would imagine, and this is someone who has been groomed before. When he has groomed her before, she always thinks, I bet because he gives her the language of like, oh, well, this is so that you're trained well, and this is for this. Mm-hmm. And like, he gives her these reasons.
Yeah.
I think the horrible things that he does, and even when he doesn't supply her with the exact things, he's done it so often, she can come up with excuses for him in her own head. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. That's what grooming does, right? You're like coming up with excuses for them. And they've given you that language over and over and over again. The difference with the beating is it was so clearly fucked up. Mm. Like, she can't come up with a world in which it makes sense for him to have done that to that level. And I think that that's why it breaks her trust with him so irrevocably. Whereas like the other messed up shit she does, it's like, oh, well, this is just how the Assassin's Keep works in general. We all owe Arobynn money.
So you don't think like, she thought, oh, he wanted to mark me. Oh, he wanted to show he's still in charge. Like no. It just was completely senseless.
Yeah, I think that level of escalation, and you can tell this because when they're in Skulls Bay and she says, hey, I'm going to do this thing, Sam is like, are you fucking crazy? Arobynn's going to kill us. Mm-hmm. And she's like, because I think Sam has a better grasp of how evil Arobynn is, but she says, don't worry about Arobynn, I'll handle it. Because I think she thinks she knows him, and given the grooming pattern she's gone through, I think then the beating was out of the pattern.
No,
and I think that's why it broke her brain.
Okay.
And then when she comes back from the Red Desert, when she first comes back, he's like, I'm so sorry. It was such a mistake. Here's these gifts and these whatever. And he ends up saying, like, I just lost control because I love you so much. And I didn't like the idea of you, like, something. And she ends up thinking to herself, well, that betrayal just really must have hurt him.
Sure.
And so he tries to explain it away once she's had time away from him. But, like, I think that's why it hits harder. Does that make sense?
So conversely, so what would have happened had he not lost control is he would have then just eventually killed Sam anyway to continue to keep her isolated.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he would have killed anyone that she's ever gotten close to, I think, would be dead.
Sure.
And we know she has a lot of friends, right? Like, when she, in Throne of Glass, when she's not under his influence at all the times, she starts making all kinds of friends. Mm-hmm. But when she was in the Keep, there's no other women assassins, and I think that's very much on purpose. And I actually don't think it's like, oh, because in the fantasy world, women are
no, because the minute we meet assassins from anywhere besides Rifthold, there's women.
Yeah. So it's clearly not the culture, right? It's clearly not
Otterlonian culture, maybe you could argue, but I don't know. Yeah.
But like, the assassins already exist outside of like those power structures, so it wouldn't make any sense to like adhere to their values. But I think it was so there was no one for her to bond with. The only woman that ever gets brought around is Lysandra, who's used as a weapon against Aelin to, again, take away...
Oh, don't you hate Lysandra in Assassin's Blade? Don't you just hate her? Like,
it's so sad. It's so sad. Oh my god, okay.
And then she goes on to become like such a character that you just love so much. Although her and Aelin should have gotten together. That's who Endgame should have been for Aelin.
Okay, you know who Endgame should have been? Her and Manon.
That would have been awesome too. Yeah, I don't know, but I do.
The tension that they had in that battle scene. Witch killer.
I like Manon and Dorian enough that I'm like, hey, but Lysandra and the parallelism and like the, I mean.
That's fair.
I would have liked that. You talk about enemies to lovers, man. Like,
oh my god, I love that.
Enemies to homies.
Speaking of him throwing shit in her face, two different things. A, he was always a resource, right? There's a scene where when he's saying I'm sorry,
Mother may I.
There's like those private dinners he does with her, and I think she's basking in that. But then she says to Sam at one point when she runs into Sam after getting back from the Red Desert, she snaps at him, well, you had access to Arobynn all summer. And you can tell that like that's been trained into her as a resource. That's
exactly how the cats act when you've locked them out of the room for a while.
Because affection is a resource. Now, in a healthy relationship, affection is not withheld as punishment, but this is an unhealthy relationship, so it is. And so that's why Lysandra's such a whatever, like competitor.
Contrast,
But then also, okay, you know, we have to talk about when she pays off. So Arobynn completely fucks her over with the Donovan deal, right? Where it's like, it turns out she was like actually helping the wrong side.
Oh yeah, like so she thought she was getting the list of hideouts so that they knew where to hide them, but instead it was the list of hideouts so that they knew where to go get them or whatever.
Yeah, she thought she was getting a list of people who were pro-slave trade.
Oh yes,
but she was actually getting a list of people who were anti-slave.
That's
trade.
Right. Yeah. Donovan,
and he's like she's like,
Donnie.
Arobynn's like, yeah, of course I'm sorry I beat you, and I think that's more in line with the kind of punishment she's used to. It's more of a mental breaking.
Subversion, yeah.
She goes to him the next day, pays off all of Sam's debts. She sells her she sells her horse to do it.
I was gonna say, I don't remember, where did she get all of her money from? But yeah, it's from Casita, which is hilarious because that's literally Spanish for small house. So, anyway.
She pays off all of Sam's debts and she's like, I'm moving out, you son of a bitch. And he punishes her. How does he punish her? He's like, yeah, well, good, because my coffers feel a little light now because I use all your money to win Lysandra's bidding. Oh my god. And I find this interesting because it proves that he's a pedophile. Because first of all, if you're waiting till the right minute that someone's legally available, you're a fucking pedophile.
If you have to check a girl's ID before you have sex with her, then you might be a piece of shit.
You're fantasizing about it before she's legal. You're a pedophile.
And never mind that he's double her age.
She
one
says,
way or the other.
She says, why? Like, she's like, why'd you do it? And he's like, well, after putting all that effort into her, shouldn't I reap the rewards? I groomed her. I helped pay for her shit, so now I get to fuck her.
Yeah, what effort would he be talking about if it wasn't the grooming? Like, he wasn't... It's not like, Archer, who was trained to be a courtesan, right?
She was trained.
But I mean, but Arobynn isn't a courtesan. He wasn't training her on how to do that?
No.
I guess maybe if he was paying for somebody... what was the madam's name? The
madam's name was...
the lady with the guy's name?
Shit.
It's like...
I don't know.
Her name may as well have been
She's an asshole, though.
It's like a
Claire? Is it Claire?
No. Oh, Clarice.
Clarice. That's not a man's name. Clarice? Oh, I guess Clarice Rinaldi. No, but she's queen. I don't know.
Anyway, neither here nor there.
Clarice.
But yeah, so I don't know what work he's referencing.
I think just like watching her, because
the work, just withholding himself from fucking her until she was legal. That's the work he did.
He paid for her to have her little coming out party. And now she owes him, right? He paid a lot of money for her to owe him. Creepy son of a bitch. And you know what he says to her too? He says, well, why should you care anyway? I hear you have Sam. And I think that goes to show that like sexual grooming he was doing to her is like, she's in pain that he slept with Lysandra because he knows she hates Lysandra, but also because I think like he kind of makes it sound like she means all this stuff to him. Yeah. And that's hurtful, even though like, yeah, he's the creep in the situation. Right. And that's the perfect way I think groomers make you think like you consented to something. Sure. Is because, you wanted it the whole way along. You were upset when I slept with Lysandra. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so creepy. Yeah. And he's like, and she thinks to herself, yeah, of course it's my fault. And so, like, because she was with Sam, he was with Lysandra. And I think that goes to show, like, yeah, there's always, like, a punishment, right?
Which is funny, because she hadn't even actually gotten with Sam, had she?
Well, they'd kissed and said they loved each other.
But it wasn't like, she wasn't getting her dick wet.
That's so crass. No, she was not.
But like, again, yeah. Because they don't ever sleep together before he gets killed, do they?
No, unfortunately.
It's part of the tragedy.
It's part of the tragedy. Well, the tragedy, I think, the real tragedy is that he smelled of cheap soap, though.
Oof, yeah, that did hit pretty hard, didn't it?
That being a trend on TikTok's crazy, because some people don't even know what it's from.
Mm.
But also, way to go throwing a glass, being a cultural phenomenon. You know what I mean?
Setting trends.
You can use my lavender soap if you want.
I love lavender, man.
I know you do, cute son of a bitch. Gotta talk about, speaking of grooming, the almond oil when she comes back into Ardalan, when she's already, she's like Aelin now, she's coming back for her throne, whatever, and he gives her that almond oil for her to wear to dinner. That son of a bitch, so she'll smell like him. Talk about possession. Creepy.
I don't remember exactly all how the context fit in to be so cool, but I guess cyanide smells like almond, and so it's actually like, it's also a signature, like it's what you would smell if you were dying of cyanide poisoning. Didn't
you try to say that you think that's why, and I have no idea if any of what we're about to say is
this
true,
might all
not
be
fact checked it, but you thought maybe that's why she can never tell that one poison. There's like one poison that's like her weakness consistently.
Yeah. It might be because it was
so she'd like been like it's like Pavloving your nose.
Yeah, I might have to double check that, but like I think that there was like a level of sinisterness there too.
Gotta talk about how Rowan then wore it himself.
Yeah, power move.
And was like, "Thanks, Arobynn. I was feeling a little." What a fucking god!
So apparently, cyanide does smell a little bit like almond. Like I think it's not like it's a bit of a stretch.
I don't know if that's the one that she struggles with, but man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's like kind of fitting that then it's all ties back to that.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. And then also want to point out that he helps her. He goes above and beyond, right? To help her when she comes back as Aelin, to help her get Adian out of the executioner's block, which is a crazy ass plan, and it was excellent. That was a really good scene, right? We're sneaking in as ballerinas, like we're doing all kinds of stuff.
Very Ocean's 11 kind of.
It was amazing. But then, so it seems like, oh, see, this is how sorry I am. But then he literally puts a word fucking stone on her finger, or he thinks the word stone on her finger.
Right.
The second he does, and this is why we always knew he was a son of a bitch. Not only does he try to completely control her with the word stone, which is already evil, it gets sexual. It gets sexual. Immediately, he's a creepy son of a bitch about it.
To no one's surprise.
To no one's surprise. Because he was a pedophile. You cannot raise someone as a child and then be like, and now I'm going to do this.
Yeah. No, it doesn't
matter. That's not even just an age gap. It wouldn't
matter if he was now 40 and she was 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still creepy. Period. So, I think maybe the last thing to talk about with Arobynn, luckily, son of a bitch is dead. Right?
Hey!
Which was an amazing moment.
An ignominious death.
I remember what I'm talking about.
Oh,
cut that. Rewind. Last thing I want to say before we get into his death is just with that grooming, like we've talked about, how many times there were words where she was struggling, even after what he did with Donovan, after he beat her, after he did what he did, not killing Sam, but other stuff to Sam. Like, she is hesitant to leave Rifthold, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sam's like, let's just get out of here. He tried it in Skull's Bay.
Yeah.
And just before the final battle where he's going to go after Rourke and Jane.
Yeah.
Sam's like, we can just leave. Like, there's shopping malls in other cities. Like,
what a girl's girl, by the way, for being concerned about her bath. I love that. But I love that Sam knows what it's really about. Like, he says, when he originally says, I'm going to leave, before they say they love each other, he says, I didn't want you to make you pick between me and Arobynn because it would break my heart when you chose Arobynn.
Yeah, he just knew that's how it would go.
It goes to show how deep that grooming was. And I think, like, the fact that she was so hesitant to leave Rifthold goes to show how deep it was. Like, what's holding them here? Yeah, this is like, she can see the glass castle. She hates the king of Alderland. These motherfuckers took over her land. What is holding her there? It's Arobynn. It's the attachment figure. I think that just goes to show how evil he is.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly the manipulation. And that's what we're circling around with all this. It is that intersection of father, lover, brother, weird uncle, like
evil.
Yeah, that he just got right in there.
Gives
and
us
used
like the
that.
full body chills.
Yeah, it's hard to even wrap your head around the logic because it's so gross.
It is so gross.
But then once it clicks, it's like, oh yeah, that's.
Which I have to say for the women, I've seen the TikToks about it. I've made a TikTok about it, and there were people that were like, ouch. When I was like, the reason you feel conflicted is because you were either groomed or you know someone who's groomed by a creepy old man. People were like, hold my hand first. You know what I mean? But I just want to say, like, add sympathy for those women. Like, once again, like, if you feel like some of those lines are hot, it's because it's ringing true from some stuff that's happened to you, most likely, or someone you know. And like, that's not your fault. Just like it's not Aylin's fault that she's struggling with it. That's what is so evil about Arobynn.
Yeah, you're not supposed to see it coming.
Yeah, the fact that it works on you and I think it makes sense, right? Because Celeana, before we get into his death, even in the book where she finds out for sure that he's the one, she thinks to herself about her time in Indovir, she wasn't ready to find out who betrayed her, right? I think it's because she doesn't want to find out it's Arobynn.
Yeah.
Like, I think she knows that'll break her, and I think it kind of does break her a bit, because again, she wants him to not be quite that evil.
Yeah.
She wants that father figure to have meant something. She wants one of his many apologies and these nice gestures to actually be real.
Sure.
And that's so relatable. Of course she does.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, like, if you're feeling any of those things, it's because it's good fucking writing.
Yeah, because
not because something's wrong with you.
It's real life. And I guess that's why he never scared me too much, is it's something that I've seen so much, but from the outside.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to be like, well, that's clearly a manipulation. But when you're on the inside, it's harder to tell.
Yeah.
So I've been like, this guy
and you have to remember her age too.
Yeah, the age, but also don't get me started on the ages of these characters because it doesn't make any sense. But even if you do the whole like add 10 years to it thing, I still think that the amount of competence and experience these people have doesn't make a lot of sense. But luckily, Aylin ends up being half Fae, and so it's like, okay, well, I guess you can explain it that way. But like, I love a competent character.
Well, technically, she's also like part god.
Is that not what Fae means?
No, well, I mean, yes, but no, she legitimately has drops of godly blood in her.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think the consensus is it hits so hard because it's a real story. Like, it's a real experience that so many people have.
Yeah. So when he dies, which is emotional for our main character, right? I think she needed him to put that word stone on her hand so that it wasn't just, he kind of makes me go into the fight pits and beat a Volg up as part of payment. Like, it's like, no, he really is kind of evil. It's not just like the transactional love, it's like evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
That's finally her proof that's like strong enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the death, because it's off screen, which is kind of crazy for such a main villain.
I just think, to me, if you don't like that it happens off screen, like, I think you missed the point. Because what is so important to Arobynn is control. He thinks he's the main character, like that. So to then have him die off screen, like to have had it happen any other way, to me, like if Aylin killed him, it would have been incredibly lame.
Yeah.
Because she could have killed him the whole time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I loved it. It not being in the, like, directly in the narrative. Like, I was like, yeah, that's very fitting. Like, him dying an ignominious death. I loved it. I actually think that it was, to me, it was my favorite parallelness and, like, single attribute of the entire story with him.
I agree. I think, there's multiple reasons I agree.
Ignominious.
Ignominious. Get lost in that one. I just think it kind of it's like,
it's got an N and
like
an M
chewy.
Next to each other.
Yeah, like
ignominious.
It's chewy. But yeah, you knew what I meant.
It's a good word.
Death. I think like
Death.
him not like taking that control from him of like, she's not going to be the one to do it. It's going to be like in the middle of the night. It's not some crazy elaborate plot to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
There was the elaborate plot about his will, but the plot to kill him was really quite simple.
Yeah, he caused a lot of trouble after he died still, didn't he? Yeah.
That was also... Yeah, I think it was like a fitting way to take away his power in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Also, Lysandra, we know she makes it so he slowly chokes on his own blood. Like, it's kind of excellent.
Don't piss off Lysandra.
She literally, I remember Celeana looks over at Lysandra, was like, what the fuck did you do? So that was great. But then also, I think you have to note, like, I think for Lysandra, she obviously had met Arobynn as a younger woman a few times, for sure. And he courted her time a lot. I think the entire time, like, Celeana ends up seeing Arobynn and him together at, like, her like their autumn like
and Sam has to do guard duty.
Yeah, their autumn like what's it called? Symphony tradition they go to.
I thought you were going for like cutting the head off. Like,
no, that was supposed to be a violin.
Like, a violin bow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a violin bow. Symphony tradition. We know he makes a deal with Clarice to like monopolize Lysandra's time a lot of the time. Like, so he's with Lysandra a lot over the years, is what Lysandra makes us feel like too when we see her again. And so like it coming from Lysandra is really powerful. But also like the fact that Arobynn raised Aelin, I think even though he's evil and horrible and whatever, I think it would have broken something in Aelin to be the one to do that blow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Or to be there when it happened. I think that would be asking something of an MC that wouldn't do anything to move their psychological safety forward and would just harm her more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You know, I think there was no other way it could have been done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than somebody even like lower than Lysandra could have done it. Like that's the only thing I would have think could have been powerful in the same way.
The only thing is like him to be completely off his guard in bed.
Yeah, it has to be her. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he like thinks he's like exerting this power over this woman, and then boom.
No, he doesn't even have the power to have his death happen on screen. Like that's just very fitting. So yeah, I love it.
Not even bothering to kill him in the streets. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Amazing. He's a compelling son of a bitch. I hate him, but I love to hate him. I love that we get this depiction of grooming and so well in something that is YA, so that a lot of people can learn to tell the signs. Because it's awesome that you could see it right off the bat. But I do think it's something a lot of people still struggle with.
No, I absolutely think that if I hadn't had the experiences I've had, that I might have been more blind to it too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's easy to say like, oh, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Not that I have to always guess the plot, even though I usually do. But
okay.
But I do think if something in there tingles for you, then it might be worth thinking about a little bit.
Yeah, the digging into that.
Yeah. I think this is a therapy exercise.
Yeah. I think really deeply looking into any sort of book or text or whatever, even when it's a fantasy book series, right? But it can be these windows into these more important things. And that's why the literary crisis is such a big deal. Yeah. Like we have to spend time thinking and talking about it, because it's easy to be like, oh, well, it's not that serious. And it's like, okay, I don't need a ChatGPT summary. Thank you very much. Like, let's work our brain muscles. Okay. Let's go to the gym, the brain gym. You know what I mean?
Ironically, you still have to read a ChatGPT output, but
it drives me fucking nuts that when you're on Instagram and stuff now, it'll be like, do you want me to summarize this message? And I'm like, the message is 3 sentences.
And summarizes it wrong anyway, probably too.
Yeah, it summarizes it incorrectly, but then also, what are you summarizing? It's already a summary.
I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I DM anybody on Instagram. I don't even know.
Oh, because of my business, I get a lot of
them. Yeah, you're on there a lot. So it asks you if you want it to...
Yeah, it'll be like, do you want this summarized?
That's so funny. I'd have to somebody actually message me once in a while.
Not just like message you a reel. Yeah, like it has to be a message. No, I'll get someone to be like, oh, is this available for sale? And blah, 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 blah about a product or whatever. And it'll be like, do you want AI to summarize?
Are you too stupid to read 8 words? Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally, do you want AI to respond yes or no for you? No, I'm good. Thanks, actually. Thank you.
Thanks, Meta AI.
Thanks, y'all, for joining us. Let us know what you think of this. This is our first time doing Throne of Glass. I actually think it was a little stressful in some ways, because
you don't know this as well as the HP.
I could talk about almost any main topic from Harry Potter and have direct quotes come to my mind immediately. But this, I really went through with the text again.
Another high this week is that they announced that Hans Zimmer is going to be writing the score for the Harry Potter TV show, so that's going to be good.
That's going to be so good. I'm so excited.
Who wrote the first one? Was it John Williams?
I don't know. It was good.
Yeah, it was tremendous. So
it's fucking amazing. But yeah, how do you... amazing versus amazing. I don't know.
Just a different flavor of amazing.
It'll be interesting to see how that series goes. I do have to say, this is not the point of this episode. But A, we have the JKR stuff that's always like, Jesus Christ, shut up, lady. But B, sometimes the Harry Potter fandom be popping off at the mouth in a way that makes me very embarrassed that I'm still here. Do you know what I like? Because we know J.K. Rowling's evil. That makes sense. But then I think I'll see these things about, because Severus is a man of color in the new adaptation, and I'll see people saying like, they've completely ruined the franchise, these blah 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 blah, black people don't belong, and you're just like, what? Like, people be saying the quiet part out loud, and you're like, what the fuck? And they'll be like violently angry in comment sections, being like, I'm not gonna watch this piece of shit, blah 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 blah, and you're like, guys,
what's Harry Potter about, yo?
I'm gonna need you to summarize the main theme real quick.
What's the whole point? Is it not a struggle against racism? Is it not about loving other people? Is it not just the Jesus story told all over again? Like, so Jesus. You not liking the casting choices because of the way a character's hair is described in the text
is pretty crazy.
I think that you might be a piece of shit. You might just be a racist. So,
and I know it's part of on me because the more evil Rowling clearly were some of the last people standing in the fandom. But guys, shape the fuck up. Do your work. Fascism every day.
My only problem with who they chose for Snape is that he's too hot. That's the
Snape
problem.
is hot.
No, he's not supposed
Snape,
to. No,
he is hot.
No, he's not supposed to look hot though.
Okay, so first of all, I feel like people always forget that once you put someone in a costume and whatever, hair and makeup, do you know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Like hot people can easily look not hot.
Oh, you think they might kind of
nerf him?
I forget the actor's name. I'm so sorry, but
they could.
Very handsome looking.
Hey, so like it's like I feel like people are always like, oh, I remember when we were kids. Jennifer Lawrence got cast as Katniss, and I remember everyone was so pissed off because she was blonde. And then guess what? She dyed her hair a brunette. Like,
what? What?
People acted like it was like a revolution.
You can't do that. That's really funny. I don't know if I watched that happen.
Isn't that so really funny? As if that's like even the most important part of that fucking text. Yeah. Really, Katniss should be a person of color. I'm fairly confident from the text it's very clear that she's a black woman, but whatever. Shut the fuck up, guys.
That's so funny.
You're embarrassing me, okay? Like,
the fandom's hanging on by a thread in the first place, so yeah, like don't be more of an asshole.
The fact that Game of Thrones is still going though, when it's so problematic, is I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere.
So there's a new Game of Thrones. Well, it's a new
spin-off show,
Westeros show, whatever you call it. And I am a little curious to see how problematic it ends up being. I think it's the characters.
Funny. You keep watching them, and then you're like, yeah, babe, that was a mistake. Like every time.
I kind of still like them. Like they're still
horrible.
So it's like I like Warhammer. There's like 4 women across 300 books in Warhammer. I know it's bad, but God, I love it. And I don't love it because there's no women. I love it despite that.
Is it still? Because I didn't watch the House of Dragon one. Is it still as violent towards women though?
I don't remember.
Like gratuitously?
I don't.
Because it's not just that the women aren't represented; it's that they're represented in a way as to only be punished.
Well, no. If you have women on screen, it can't be sexist. No, I don't remember how bad House of the Dragon is in terms of the violence or the misogyny. I don't know. I don't remember.
Anyway, think on it though.
Yeah.
Lastly, we are aware of what's been going on in the world, and just remember to keep showing up, read books, attend protests, call your legislators, make sure your voting registration's up to date for the midterm elections. Nothing that's happening is okay.
Listen to the statement that Tim Walsh gave.
Yes.
After the shooting of Renee Good.
No one deserves to die for existing in this country. Period. Actually, it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not. Period. Babies don't deserve to be tear gassed. Period. And stop. If you like Celeana Sardathian and characters like that, just know she would hate what's going on too. But you don't have to be an assassin to enact change. You don't have to be overpowered to enact change. It's those everyday moments that really help Celeana in the end, and that's going to help us all in the end as well.
Isn't that kind of the whole point of the books, is a fight against fascism a little bit?
Yeah.
It's kind of the point of most fiction.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Almost like it's an ongoing threat to humanity. Shocking. Freedom.
Things to think about.
Who would have thought? We all like it, actually. Like, comment, subscribe, fight me in the comments. Don't fight me about fascism though, because I will come after your ass and it will not be pretty. And most of all, have a very magical day.
Have a very Celeana Sardathian day.